Hey everyone, it's Michael GoosebumpsFan. I am back from my honeymoon. I have a ring on my finger. Look at that. I have a nice little golden ring. I like mine plain. I don't like the newer things people are doing like black and silver and stuff. It looks cool. It doesn't look good for me. I just like the gold ring. Very simplistic, but very classical, very traditional, very much like Rachel and I. And I want to thank all you guys from literally from the wedding day itself when I uploaded my last video called Getting Married Today. You guys showed so much support. I want to thank you guys, especially my brothers and sisters in Christ out there who prayed for me and Rachel. And with this wonderful, awesome union by the Lord Jesus Christ, you know, God the Father himself, the lead of that Trinity, who have brought us together. Now, according to the scriptures, we are one person. We're one thing. We are one human. And there's nothing better than it. I can tell you right now, I know a lot of people say the honeymoon is like the sweet phase and you have fun during that. It's no arguments, nothing like that. Me and Rachel don't argue like ever. We've never gotten an argument. We've had a couple of disagreements on, you know, whatever, like a restaurant or something, or one of us is tired or hangry, you know, hungry/angry. That's hangry. For anybody who doesn't know that, that's pretty much Southern speak. But I have married the most wonderful woman that I could ever ask to marry. I've been blessed with such a wonderful family that was so supportive, whether it be on her side or my side. And it has just been a wonderful week. Between the wedding itself, the rehearsal dinner the day before my previous video, and then the day of. The wedding was so beautiful, guys. I tell you, if I get my video from the videographer soon, I might go ahead and upload that here. I'm not really sure. Rachel will probably make an appearance here on the channel at some point, either before that video or later on. I'm not really sure. We haven't really talked about it. I still want her to read at least one Goosebumps book during the month of October, because it's really the time to be effective. I showed her the Haunted Mask episode, first episode adaptation, the two-parter, and she was completely creeped out by that. She had never seen it before. Remember, for anybody who doesn't know, she didn't grow up on Goosebumps, so she doesn't know anything really about stuff like that. And she thought it was pretty scary, dude. I know when Rachel gets scared, she's like myself, she gets scared very easy. However, I'm a horror fan, she is not. So that was fun to watch. We watched that like the week of that we were gonna, you know, get married. So we had a great time with this stuff. The honeymoon was so great. We stayed in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, and that was awesome. I stayed in a cabin for the first time ever, had some really good ideas for some books I want to work on, and some really, really fun time. By the way, in case my camera moves, I have a stompy foot. I don't know if you've ever noticed that in a previous video since you guys can't see my legs. By the way, this is the new filming area. This is in my current apartment now that we live in together. I've never lived with anybody else outside of my old house with my grandfather and my mom and my grandmother when she was still alive, so I'm living in a new place. It's really odd. I'm having some separation anxiety and stuff, but you know, the good stuff that comes along with marriage and moving out for the first time. My wife, excuse me, I have to say this again, my wife, it's so weird when you go from fiance to wife. It's even weirder when you go from girlfriend to fiance. It's really weird when you go from fiance to wife. I have to say wife all the time. The other day I went to a hotel the night before actually, it was the wedding night. We went there before we went to Pigeon Forge, Tennessee for our honeymoon. And the next morning after we woke up, I went downstairs to try to get us some breakfast. They said that they had like lunch bags at this particular place. It was a nice hotel. They just weren't doing hot breakfast on this particular day. And I went down there, they said that they would give me a bag. They said, how many do you need? I said, oh, two, one for my wife and I. And it just kind of hit me all at one point. It hit me at one time. I cried at the wedding when Rachel came down the aisle and I saw her in the bridal outfit, her dress, for the first time. I cried. I'm not afraid to admit it. I cried like a baby in front of everybody we know. I'm not ashamed of it. We had a great wedding. It was so beautiful. Anybody who happens to be watching this that was involved with the wedding, or anybody who knows us, like my friend Linda that works nearby that we see all the time, like every week when we go grocery shopping, for all you folks who know us, for all you folks who just know me through the channel, who again, down in the comments, you guys prayed for us and stuff, thank you so much. I could not thank you enough. I could not thank God enough for the wonderful, beautiful woman I've married. Anyway, it's been a wild week. My wonderful wife made both of these things. This one right here that we kind of saw in like Target one time, and she wanted to make her own, and it's so beautiful. I really like that. I don't think you can see it all that well from this camera angle with the weird fisheye lens problem my camera has, or it's not really a problem, it's how the camera's built according to Sony. The old one with the same model number did not do that. Anyway, she also made this beautiful Jeremiah 29:11, which I really love that. It's got the flowers, it's very pretty. So this week, of course, in my title, I'll talk more about the honeymoon in a moment. I kind of wanted to make a bigger video about that. I don't really know if I will, but we'll get there when we get there. I did pick up one thing this week. It was actually yesterday when we were heading back. Sorry to get in your face just now. I'm trying to bob and weave and not stomp near my camera. The apartment floors are different, so this one, if I move my foot and stomp it like I usually do when you guys can't see it, the camera might wiggle a little bit, so forgive me for that. There's also a fan right here, by the way. I wanted to let you know, in case you're hearing some kind of whoosh whoosh noise, it's just that fan right there. If you have a problem, please let me down in the comment section if it's really bothersome. I tried listening back on a practice example video just to see what it sounded like. It didn't sound like it would be that much of an issue, but if it is, let me know and I will work on that as well. I don't use a microphone or anything to edit out my sound, so there's that. But anyway, we went to a place in Tennessee. It was actually in Knoxville. There's like 5 different stores in Tennessee specifically called McKay's. This is like a used DVD, book, CD, album, anything, toys, all video games, all this stuff, dude. If you live in Tennessee or if you're going to Tennessee at some point and you love horror movies, comedies, anything like that, they even have a Christmas section at some points with Christmas movies, not so much decorations. They might have that later on in the year. If you love movies, go to McKay's. McKay's was awesome. Now, the customer service was not very nice. They're not very friendly people. But the one I went to in Knoxville, they didn't have any employees on the ground at all. At all. Like, I went around asking for Clive Barker books. No one could help me. So I had to look around for some stuff myself. They had a lot of hardcover Stephen King books that haven't been in print for like 10 years in hardcover, and they were like $10. So there's a lot of good stuff in there. I found a lot of cool stuff. There's a movie called Drive Through that I really wanted to get a copy of. I saw that not even like 6 months ago. Wanted to see that all my life. I kept seeing it at like Hollywood Video when I was growing up and stuff. I finally got to see it, and I loved it. I found a copy out here in a 4-pack with Creep and some other stuff, like Boy Eats Girl, I think is the title of one of the films. Kind of like Boy Meets World type of thing. But anyway, it was like a 3-pack. It was like $3. Okay, they had films in there for like 95 cents on DVD that were used, but they looked good. They were in pretty decent condition. Found so many horror films. If you're a horror film fan, dude, I will tell you right now, you can find so many good horror films, so many classics, so many newer classics, all kind of good stuff. Stuff that you haven't heard of. Like, for example, I saw The Haunting, which is based on Shirley Jackson's book, The Haunting of Hill House. And I found that for like $2. So I grabbed that. In total, I spent like $30 in there. I bought like Clive Barker's Books of Blood, which is Book of Blood, which is the 2009 adaptation of his short story collection, whatever. I think it's just a straight up film. I don't think it's like an anthology as far as I know. But anyway, I bought a lot of cool stuff at McKay's. One of the things I got there that I was really stoked about, I almost bought Not a Living Dummy. Almost. It was like an original copy. It wasn't one of the original copies I have that are really slim. It might have been a reproduction. It might have been an original book as far as I know, but the Goosebumps books in there, they had a ton of old classic covers and stuff. They were like $3. They had everything from the 2002 to 5, whatever that era is, of the first reissues that came out, where they did not put out the entire original classic 62 books. I did not see any Series 2000. I saw very few newer books from Goosebumps. It was mostly classic stuff, like with the numbers on the side of the spine and everything. So that was pretty cool if you want that kind of thing with original covers. Not so much the newer covers from the reissues from current day, from the last, like 2015 onward. But it was like the good old covers. And this is one of the ones I've been looking for. I never picked up, as far as I know, I never picked up an actual copy with this original cover, but I was really stoked to find it. It is Goosebumps Classic Edition, number 20, The Scarecrow Walks at Midnight. I love this book, very good book. I only had a reissue cover. I think I have a hardcover also, either of the newer cover or the older cover. I'm not really sure what happened. I have my books kind of spattered between my old place of living and my grandfather's house and this place. So my books are a little bit all over the place, having a little bit of trouble. I won't be able to make a kind of a big collection video anytime soon because my stuff is scattered out still. It's going to be like that probably until Rachel and I can get a house one day, God willing. It's probably going to be a while until that happens because houses are selling out quick in Virginia, and I'm really tired of that. But yeah, that was pretty fun. I'm glad I have a copy of this, really stoked about it. I'm gonna add it to my collection, put it on my bookshelf. This is one of the books I do have here, but I have not looked. So I wanna put that in there in a moment after I finish recording and stuff. But anyway, finished some books on the trip. I talked about these. I actually finished one today. It's kind of a cheat. Of course, the first one I was planning on finishing before I left, I did not get to. I thought I could finish it on wedding day after I got my video up that I talked about. Did not finish it, had to finish it on the way to the trip. Actually got very close to almost the end of the trip before I finished this and started the next book after it. This one is what I'm going to review in just a moment after I finish this video and stuff. Goosebumps Horrorland number 8, Say Cheese and Die Screaming, the third and I believe at this current moment final Say Cheese and Die book. And this one was, we'll get there. Like I said, not in this video. I will be doing not only a ranking video, but also an individual review for that book. The one that everybody recorded, or not recorded, but voted on that they wanted me to read specifically on this vacation was A Night in Terror Tower. And I read this, and it was really solid. Can't wait to talk about this as well after that book review too. Of course, both of these books, not these books, not the first one, Say Cheese and Die Again, which is one I read and finished right before I went on vacation. Honeymoon, whatever. That and Night in Terror Tower have episodes. Night in Terror Tower has a two-parter, excuse me. I'm so all over the place. I'm sorry, guys. I've been doing a lot of moving today, a lot of emotional stress, all that kind of good stuff. So, you get the Michael you get. That's all I can tell you. Anyway, I've got all this stuff together. I plan in the next couple of days watching those episodes and maybe getting a review out over the next couple of days. I'm not really sure, and I can't really promise you how fast stuff will get out on this channel. I can't even promise that with my other channel, Strange Michael, where I do movie reviews of all kinds of different movies, horror and otherwise. It's gonna be a little hectic trying to get used to things and trying to figure out my schedule around what Rachel's doing and kind of my workout schedule. I haven't worked out all week long, so I'm exhausted, dude. I did not get any exercise at all during this vacation. Usually I was eating very restrictively throughout the honeymoon. I did not eat restrictively. I probably gained back like 5 pounds if I had to bet, maybe even more, I don't know. But I'm gonna be eating salad for 2 weeks, pretty much every single meal, so I can try to take off whatever I gained back on that honeymoon, but man, was it worth it. Dude, if you haven't been to Gatlinburg or Pigeon Forge, which Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge and Sevierville are all like right there together. If you haven't been to those places, dude, oh man, some amazing food I want to tell you about. We went to a place called Farm Kitchen, right? It's kind of like a country style type of thing. Most of Tennessee is like that anyway. Farm Kitchen is fantastic. Rachel and I ate there twice on this honeymoon and we did not regret it at all. Some of the best barbecue I've ever had in my life. Now Tennessee is kind of famous for Bigfoot barbecue, like pulled pork barbecue. You like some pulled pork barbecue? Get that. Rachel had the pot roast and she loved it both times. She thought it was very good. I had a couple of bites that was really good. They give you a lot of food, man. Like 2 freaking sides, and I got some corn. Didn't eat the corn. Rachel ate her corn. She thought it was very good. It's a lot of food, dude. Really good homemade rolls. All kinds of great stuff. We went to an Italian place one afternoon called Carino's. That was amazing. Some of the best Italian food restaurant eating I've ever had in my life. Kind of like up there with Carrabba's. If you've had Carrabba's, I would put it like right there with Carrabba's. Very good stuff. Carino's was fantastic. I don't know if you guys have that in the north or other parts of the south or whatever, but I've never been to a Carino's, never been to a Farm Kitchen. Both of those were amazing. We went to a place called like the Old Mill Restaurant or something. That was really good too. What did I get out there? Oh, I got like a 10-ounce sirloin steak or something. Oh, it was so good, dude. They give you like all the stuff for like 20 bucks for a meal. I thought it was gonna be extremely overpriced because it said $20 for a sirloin steak, not a filet mignon, but sirloin. All that stuff. We're gonna be talking about food for a little while, by the way. That sirloin was so good. I was so paranoid because our car had like our names written on the side that my cousins put on there, and that was very sweet of them, but I was absolutely paranoid. If you know me in real life, you know how paranoid I am. I also have a funny story to tell you in a moment, so we'll get there if I remember to. But I was very paranoid at this meal. I thought for sure we were gonna get our car busted into when a supposed, I don't know if it's true, but a supposed retired sheriff and his wife sat across from us from like Idaho or whatever. And they were talking about how they wondered if that was our car out there because they could see the rings. They saw that kind of look in your eye, you know, the honeymoon look where you love your other one, you know, that whole thing. They wondered if that was our car, and apparently everybody knew that that was our car because we were the newlyweds and we looked like it apparently, being 26 and, well, I'm almost 26, she's 25. And I guess people just tell. Everybody keeps saying that. I love her to death, so I guess maybe that look is there. I don't know. But the steak was fantastic, even though I was paranoid the whole time. I guess I kind of ruined the meal a little bit because I was a little scared of our car getting broken into. I don't know. They said that they always worried about people having that written on their car because people are like, oh yeah, they probably have a lot of money because of having the just married written on their car. People give you the gift of money and presents and stuff when you're on honeymoon or wedding, whatever. So I was a little paranoid through all that. Kind of felt bad about that night. We had like this big struggle trying to get to the bank and drop the money in there that we needed to. It was a hectic night. The first night that we got to Pigeon Forge / Gatlinburg and all that. Our cabin was beautiful. We had a hot tub that was gorgeous. Such a romantic place, man. You ever taken a hot tub bath thing in the middle of the night at like until like 2 o'clock in the morning? You don't know what peace is until you go into Gatlinburg or Pigeon Forge and stay in a cabin and stay in a hot tub, excuse me, till about 2 a.m. or so. That's a beautiful, beautiful, romantic, fun, kind of creepy at times experience. You hear all those weird noises out in the woods, you hear all the stories about Bigfoot. Not that I believe in Bigfoot. I like a lot of urban legend stuff, but some of the weird things that happened in Tennessee were a little odd in like the 80s and stuff, with the whole malicious group being sent out to go after this big hairy man that was very tall and kidnapping and children and stuff, and people saw it. It was kind of odd. A lot of the locals talk about that apparently. I didn't really talk to anybody. Then you have the whole Bell Witch story. The Bell Witch story is a new terror that I found out on the last night of our honeymoon out there, and I was absolutely petrified that night and could not sleep that night, and had a whole drive back to Virginia and stuff the next day, so it was a little spooky you know, that last night of the honeymoon when I found out about the Bell Witch tours and the Bell Witch Cave and the Bell Witch urban legend and all that stuff. If you haven't read about that and you love urban legends, you should look into that too. My funny story I wanted to tell you about, I thought I killed Rachel. So, in my sleep, I typically put, like, I lay on my stomach a lot of the time, right? This one night in like the middle of the vacation, I thought I'd share all this with you guys because I thought maybe you'd enjoy this. In the middle of the vacation week, I essentially woke up at like 7 o'clock in the morning. It was still kind of dark outside. Of course, Rachel and I were sleeping in the same bed. We had a king bed. That was pretty cool too. I never slept in a king bed before, but that was pretty fun. She was beside me. I was on the left side of the bed. She was on the right. Usually when I sleep on my stomach, I kind of face away. Like if I'm against a wall, I face away from the wall. I don't know. I just do that. I don't know. But I was facing left towards the wall and towards the nightstand that were beside me and the chest of drawers and all that. She was facing on the other side. I wake up at about 7 o'clock in the morning. I think at one point during the night, my pillow fell out on the floor. I kind of remember that and remember grabbing it up really quick and throwing it under my head and going back to sleep. I wake up at about 7 o'clock or so, like I said, and I don't know, I just kind of wake up, I check on her. It's one of those weird new husband things I've developed. I'm always worried about her, you know, and I'm usually kind of like that with people. My mom, my grandfather, my wife, Nell. Even before we were married, I'm just kind of like that. Now it's a new thing. It's like a new terror all the time. It's like when you have a kid, you're kind of terrified something's going to happen to them. They're going to trip and fall and bust their face open, or you know, I don't know. So I was a little worried about her, and I kind of just casually glanced over my shoulder at her just to see what she was doing, even though she was supposed to be asleep. And my pillow had apparently slipped out of my pillowcase a little bit when it fell on the floor. And my pillow was half over her face. Like when I say half, I mean half my pillow. Not half her face, half my pillow was over her face. Now, you have to know me and Rachel. We both snore tremendously loud. We snore loud, right? So I wake up, she's not snoring, right? And she was snoring before I went to sleep. I was on my phone and stuff before she fell asleep. And when she fell asleep and stuff, I was looking at YouTube. I was watching the movie Four Brothers with Mark Wahlberg. Really love that film. Really fun film. Not perfect, but good. I like it. I was watching that a little bit. I got dozy. I fell asleep. Then all this took place. She was snoring before I went to bed, before I fell asleep. When I woke up and saw that pillow over her face, she was not snoring. So I had a small heart attack, a little bit. I pulled the pillow off really quick. Again, 7 o'clock in the morning, was not very majestic about it. I probably had to keep dropping it and pulling it back up as fast as I could. She wasn't moving, right? And I look at her stomach, she's not moving. So for some reason, it occurred to me to poke her in the stomach, like in the belly button, and be like, Rachel, poking her in the belly button. And she just wakes up, and you have to know how sweet this woman is. Like, when you wake her up sometimes, she'll just wake up and she'll have like this almost Yoda vibe to her, and just kind of look at you and be like, yes, you know, and she just looks at me with the sweetest voice ever and says yes to me. Just gets this big grin on her face, and I was like, oh, thank God. I just laid back and panicked and had a small heart attack for a little while, being scared to death that I just smothered my wife. We were by ourselves in the middle of the woods in a cabin in Tennessee. We weren't from Tennessee. I was scared to death with all the movies I've seen in my life that I was going to be framed for killing her. I was so absolutely petrified, guys. You don't know how scared I was. I was like, this is something out of a movie, you know? I could not believe that she wasn't snoring. That scared me so bad, you have no idea. Anyway, that's pretty much my little story. I had a heart attack. If you knew how paranoid I am in real life, and if you knew how sweet and silly she is in real life, then you'd know how adorable she was when this happened and how much of a heart attack I actually had not seeing her breathe. And she was fine. She wasn't suffocating. She said she was just fine. She was apparently in this place between sleeping and being awake. I don't know how poking somebody in the belly button was supposed to be effective, but it was. She woke up. So it was a weird weekend. It was a weird night, a weird morning. I explained to her everything that happened. She laughed at me. And it was just one of those things. We had a great honeymoon, if you haven't been able to tell from my little short stories to tell you. I thought I'd share some information with you guys about all that stuff before I got into book reviews and stuff after this video. But I just want to tell you again, I love you guys. Thank you guys so much for being involved in my life and being involved in Rachel's life too, now that we have pretty much one life together. Thank you for being involved with all of us and being there for us and caring about us, and again, putting prayers down in the comment section and stuff for us. That was so sweet of you guys. I'm sorry I didn't get I can't even talk. I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to respond to you guys a whole lot, really at all anymore, even before this whole marriage thing. It's just kind of hectic. This week was nuts, man. We were shopping nonstop. Sometimes we weren't getting home until like 11 o'clock at night. It's really kind of scary driving out in the dark. For anybody who doesn't live in the South, You don't realize that there's no streetlights a lot of the time in the back roads and stuff. There were no streetlights in Tennessee almost at all, unless they were on the main strip with all the stuff to do. It was terrifying when you'd come home at night at like 11 o'clock at night and have people riding your tail and stuff out there. Trucks are mean in Tennessee. They really are. Anyway, that's pretty much all the stuff I had to talk about. I hope that you will stick around for the next couple of videos and hear me book review and stuff for some reviews for you guys. I'm sorry it's been so long since I could get the reviews out for you guys. It's been a hectic couple of weeks, man. Last week I was so busy, or week before last I was so busy trying to get so much stuff prepared for the wedding. Today has been a lot of moving stuff and unboxing stuff and moving my clothes into her closet and stuff, and it's been hectic, man. It's been hectic. Like I said with my other channel, Strange Michael, where I review movies, I'm having a lot of stuff in mind to figure out with that too. Might have to record that in the morning and stuff. I don't really know what to think. I have a lot of stuff to think about, kind of plan out. I'm gonna change my schedule around and get up earlier today. I'm gonna eat my meal in the day before I go to work. Getting back to work is not gonna be fun. I don't know. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for hearing me ramble, hearing my stories and my recommendations on food. Again, if you go to Tennessee, go to some great places I recommended to you. Promise you, you won't be let down. Really cool stores out there, too. Some stores are kind of like the Wings stores from Myrtle Beach. That was pretty cool. I like that. Anyway, what are your thoughts on all the stuff I talked about? Have you been to any of these restaurants I mentioned? Have you been on a honeymoon before? What do you think? Put all that down below, guys. I'd love to talk about all those things with you at some point. And again, I got a lot of content coming out tonight, hopefully, if I can get the stuff done. Sorry for such a long, rambly video. I thought maybe you'd enjoy that a little bit. Anyway, may the Lord Jesus Christ bless you guys today. Again, thank you for praying for us. We both love you. Hope to have Rachel on the channel at some point. And God bless you guys. Goodbye.